Hey, what's cracking everyone? My name is Ryan, and today I'm going to be taking an in-depth look at the Noble Audio Knight. Now, the Knight is the first entry-level wired IEM that Noble has put out, coming in at just $289. It is a tri-bridge driver IEM that is nestled inside of a stunning 3D acrylic faceplate that shows off this lovely purple and blue color design. I think the big question is going to be whether or not this very competitively priced IEM should be worth your attention and consideration. Or is this simply just a knight missing the seat at the very large round table of IEMs that are storming the castle gates or doors to the stores that sell them? Before I get further into this review, I do want to take a moment to thank Audio 46 for sending out the Knight in exchange for all of my thoughts and opinions. I do recommend checking out Audio 46 online as they sell many different audio products ranging from entry-level IEMs, such as the Knight, all the way up to Summit Fi of the hobby. Also, if you happen to be in New York, you can stop in their store that is located right in Times Square, right off of 46th Street. The Knight will come inside this beautiful and rather large box. When you open the box, you are met with the Knight IEM with the cable attached, an assortment of tips in a very cool case that is shaped like the shield of a knight, and a black velvet pouch. You'll also get a cleaning brush and cloth along with a warranty card and manual. It kind of feels like overkill for the box to be so big, but hey. Hey everyone, quick reminder to please like the videos like this one if you do like them. Also consider subscribing to the channel if you have not done so already to help me continue my growth. Lastly, I do have a Patreon if you'd like to further support the channel and even get into a members-only Telegram chat. And with that, let's get back to the video. The Knight is on the larger size as for IEMs go, and the nozzle is a bit longer as well. Maybe that's why the box is so big. So be prepared for a bit of an in-ear violation as it'll go a bit deeper than others. That's what she said! Here is just a quick comparison to the TheAudio Hype 4, which is also said to be on the larger side, then to the Dunu Falcon Ultra, which is definitely on the more smaller and comfortable size for that reference. And yes, I am also going to be comparing the sonic differences between the three, so spoiler alert in that for later. The Knight does have a beautiful 3D acrylic faceplate that shows off a very unique design that really reminds me of a crest you might see on a knight's shield. Its blue and purple color is stunning in my opinion, and also built very well. As I said, the nozzle is on the longer side and you will get a fair assortment of tips to see what will fit you best. If you have smaller ears, I'll have to warn you that this IEM may not work for you. I do also like the included cable. It is an 8-strand woven OCC silver plated cable that is terminated to a 4.4 plug. My only complaint with the cable is on the neck adjustment. It's a little tight to adjust with the woven cable and can cause one side of the cables to kind of hang up on it. Other than that, I had no issues with the cable and it lays nice and flat and easy to roll up for storing. The tri-bridge driver system of the Knight consists of one 10mm dynamic driver to enhance the lower frequencies, one sonium balanced armature driver that will handle the mid-range, and one piezoelectric tweeter to provide extra sparkle and air to the upper frequencies. This comes together for 26 ohms of impedance and a sensitivity of 104 dB per milliwatt. Before I go any further, it's important to discuss the comfort and fit issues I've encountered. This has not been the easiest IEM for me to get a good fit and seal with. Because the nozzle is a bit longer, I feel others could encounter this as well. I tried the stock tips first and I had a few problems. So then I tried the Baroque tips from Elitech that I love so very much. Because these are short and wide, I was hoping they would seal better, and honestly, they did not, and I even had more issues with the seal. The absolute best fit I got was using the Stage and Studio tips from Dunu. I also felt these opened up the sound slightly more with the Knight, while perhaps reducing the bass quantity very slightly. So the point I'm making with this is that if you purchase any IEM, it is wise to have a good assortment of tips, both size and shape, on hand to test out. I'm noting this because this is a universal fit IEM. That is just going to be par for the course with these types of shells, and my personal knight in shining armor came in the form of the Dunu SNS tips. I ran all of my tests with the Night using my iBasso DC Elite and the Cayin RU7. This is a very easy to drive IEM that won't be as sensitive to different gear. So I was able to easily run this on my desktop amps and even straight into my PC, but I had to use a different cable for the unbalanced connection. In the specific case of Synergy, I enjoyed the Night on the RU7 the most for probably the most balanced frequency response I heard with all of the gear I tested. I find the signature of the Night to give us all a glimpse into the house sound of Noble audio. It has a deep extension of bass that is controlled without being overly done. This gives to a mid bass that is impactful and controlled enough that it doesn't interrupt the mids. Mid-range is full, but not overly harsh or fatiguing to my ears, especially when it comes to the vocal regions. Then the top end has a good amount of sparkle thanks to that piezo tweeter, but I wouldn't call it overly bright and even a bit sweet. That's not to say it's without its flaws though. For the bass response, the star of the show truly is the mid bass. The track Horizon by Artbat shows just this. It is a fast amount of mid bass that is impactful. The attack is energetic here, but it does have a sort of a softened blow to it that I picked up. I don't think it's a bad thing, I just describe it as not as much of a direct hit of impact, if that makes sense. Kind of like a boxer hitting a punching bag as opposed to a speed bag. The sub bass does extend down, which is nice, but there's no elevation to it that I picked up, so don't expect a rumbly experience for the sub level. The track A Milli by Lil Wayne is a good one to test out for sub bass fullness. The bass excursion of this track will demand attention, and if it's missing, the track becomes pretty unexciting. I find the Night to give you enough for that not to happen, but it's not going to be a basshead's dream either. I'd say the sub bass is like an earthquake with no shake, and I'll have a good comparison here in a bit to give you even more of what I mean. Mid-range is what I would classify as being on the warmer side of things while maintaining a good amount of focus. The track The Joke by Brandi Carlile shows off a bit of this. Her vocals are thick on this track to begin with. On the Night, they are also softened ever so slightly so that they aren't pushed right up in your ear. I also feel like there isn't quite as much breath and air around her vocals. Then the instruments are sort of in the back through this mix. I found this again when I played the track The Chain by Fleetwood Mac. There was good pop to the drums and a decent hold to guitar notes. However, again, the instruments felt a little more distant, and I feel this is due to the tuning in the upper presence region of the mid-range, perhaps a bit subdued. The good news is that this creates a more relaxed experience that isn't harsh at all. I could see many people going for this sort of signature that I feel is the house sound of Noble. When listening to male artists from bands like Volbeat and Creed, I did get more focus to their vocals versus the female artists. I believe this shows you that the lower mids just have more meat to them. It also does make the drums impactful, as I said, so there is a nice punchiness to this IEM as well. So to be clear, I'm not describing the mids as hazy or veiled, just not pushed up in your face if you prefer a more mid-forward presentation, which I don't feel this has. It's quite Noble of the Night. The treble has been an interesting journey for me. Overall, I do find the treble to be a sweet and smooth sound with these moments of sparkle that really bring some definition into the instruments. The track Help Me Through the Day by Baba Blues was a perfect example of this. The guitar here has moments of plucks that will be well-defined and pokey. I never found this to be over the top or stabby, though a Night does carry a sword typically, so I suppose stabby would fit the bill for that. In general, I find a sweetness to the electric guitar, and considering how much I enjoy genres of music that focus on that instrument, that's a damn good thing for me. I will warn you though, at times, you will pick up some sibilants in artists that naturally have them. Patricia Barber for sure is one that didn't shy away from that through the Night. This region of that treble has different sensitivity levels to each person, so just throwing some caution to the wind or to your ears. I should also mention that I don't find the Night to be an overly wide sounding IEM. It does have a natural sound to the staging and can tend to be a bit more intimate on some tracks. The track The Greatest by Billie Eilish is one example of this. At the 310 mark, she hits this big moment with her voice that can expand out and have plenty of reverberation for not just her vocals, but the booming low end that can have that extra meat on the bone. For the Night, it felt a little more tunneled and distant because it just didn't have that extra bit of air to expand out. Her vocals are still focused and not lacking through the rest of the mix. It just felt as though something was missing, and I really think this is where a bit more weight on the lows can contribute to big moments like this. As for instrument separation, I listened to a track called Married Dancers by Greg Spiro and Nicole McCabe. The track builds up with instruments being introduced slowly and throughout till it comes to a point where you will hear a bit of everything. I find the night to define everything just enough that I don't feel that it's too cluttered or lost. Again, a little more space in between would have been nice, but for this price point, I still believe it to be very well done. So I did compare the Night to a couple of different IEMs. One of them was the Dunu Falcon Ultra. I felt the Ultra was a good comparison considering it is a lower price point and one that I found to perform very well. Now going higher in the price point is the The-Audio Hype 4. Another IEM I feel performs very well for the price. Besides the obvious size differences, I definitely found enough sound variations as well. For starters, the Hype 4 is a beast in the sub-bass region. This one gains a good amount of boom in the low end without overtaking the rest of the frequency response. I think the mid-bass is almost on par with the Night, and I found the mids to be close enough as well. Now both of these IEMs can gain some sparkle, but I think the Hype 4 gains just a tad more. That tells me that the Night is better balanced than the Hype 4, but preference-wise can be a bit different story depending on what you're going for. Also, I think the Hype 4 provides a bit more space in between instruments and just is technically better to my ears over the Night. Then the Dunu Falcon Ultra is a strong consideration if you're looking for more presence in the upper mids and a bit more of a boom in the low end. The Falcon Ultra also allows you to change things up with 2 nozzles and still has one of the more impressive accessory packages I have ever seen with an IEM at that price point. I do think the Night beats out the Falcon Ultra slightly when it comes to some of the details I can pick out, but you can't deny the musical and fun sound you can get out of the Falcon Ultra. Also, if you have smaller ears, I think the Falcon will be the way to go. All right, so to give you my own personal opinion on the Night, I gotta say that the sound signature of this doesn't really line up with my preferences, and I felt the same way when I listened to the Stage 3. Now here's what I will tell you. If you don't want to pay the extra amount of money to go to something like the Stage 3, that is about twice the price of this IEM, this is a very good option to consider getting into the Noble Audio lineup, because I do think it shares a lot of the same characteristics as the Stage 3, and it's half the price. You're just going to miss out on some of the technical details of the Stage 3, and also the Stage 3 definitely has more stage, hence the name Stage 3. That wasn't right on the nose with that one. Also guys, I did try this out with gaming because I do that with pretty much any gear that I test, and this was not flattering for me for gaming either. I want a little bit more stage presence out of my video games, even though I'm not a competitive player, but I still just like that immersion experience. And the low end, I like more low end and sub-bass response, because that just fills it in a little bit better with my gaming. So yeah, I do think Noble Audio did a nice job with an entry-level IEM, getting a sound signature that a lot of people are going to gravitate towards and won't break the bank to get a very good sounding IEM. And this thing is beautiful, by the way. I think it's so stunning, just unfortunately doesn't fit my sound preferences. So will this be your knight in shining armor, or will it fade into the crowded space and just be another casualty of war on the IEM battlefield? By the way, thank you to Noble for making the Night, because it has been fun to keep referring to this as the Noble Night. Whether it truly is, well, that will be up to all of you to decide. And with that, I'd like to thank all of you for watching this video. Don't forget to drop a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this entry-level IEM from Noble. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.